You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
Feel like who art Ed?
We'll try to slice it.
Who art is Mr. Wood art Ed me?
Good. Either way, it's ambiguous. It works on so many levels.
I know.
That's off to a great start.
Welcome to Who Arted, weekly art history for all ages. I'm your host, Kyle Wood, and today we're traveling back over 500 years before the Spanish conquest of the Americas to look at one of the most fascinating, vibrant, and mysterious books in the world, the Codex Borgia. Now, when you think of a book, you probably picture something bound with pages you turn, but forget the traditional book. Instead, imagine a long strip, nearly 36 feet or 11 meters long, made of carefully prepared animal hide. The strip is coated in a thin layer of something like a gesso, basically, and then folded up neatly like an accordion or a screen. When unfolded, it reveals 39 double-sided sections absolutely packed with brilliantly colored, complex images painted by an incredibly skilled hand. It's a window into a completely different way of understanding the cosmos, time, and the sacred. The Codex Borgia is a pre-Columbian Mesoamerican manuscript. That means it was created by indigenous peoples in what is now Mexico before Christopher Columbus arrived and long before the Spanish conquest fundamentally changed the region forever. Based on its artistic style and symbols used, scholars believe it likely originated in the highlands of central Mexico, perhaps in the Puebla or Tlaxcala region, maybe in connection with the Mixtec people sometime in the late post-classic period, which basically places it around the 13th to early 16th centuries. Now, the Codex Borgia is primarily a religious or divining sort of manuscript. Think of it like a sacred almanac, a guide used by priests or ritual specialists. Its pages are filled with intricate descriptions of deities, complex calendar systems, ritual scenes, astronomical events, and symbolic representations of the natural and supernatural worlds. It belongs to a small, precious group of related manuscripts known as the Borgia Group, all sharing similar styles and content. What makes the Codex Borgia itself stand out is the exceptional artistic quality and the relatively good state of preservation. So, who created it and why? Well, to be honest, we don't really know. We don't have the name of an artist or artists who worked on it. Like much of the art from that period and region, it was likely created by trained specialists, scribes, and priests. They were intellectuals, keepers of the sacred knowledge, but also skilled in preparing the materials and meticulously painting the complex iconography required. The how involves preparing long strips of animal hide, treating them, joining them seamlessly, and then coating them with a fine layer of a gesso to create a smooth white surface that they could then add the designs on top of. Using brushes likely made from animal hair and plant fibers, they painted with vibrant mineral and organic pigments. Reds from insects, yellows and ochres from minerals, black from carbon, and the famous Maya blue, a lovely pigment derived from a mix of clay minerals and indigo. Now, all of this was beautiful, but it wasn't just about the aesthetics. I mean, this wasn't art for art's sake. It was a functional and sacred tool. Primarily, it seems to have been used to connect to the tonalpohualli, the sacred 260-day Mesoamerican ritual calendar. This calendar, combining 20 signs with 13 numbers, was fundamental to Mesoamerican life. It was used for divination, predicting favorable or unfavorable days for important activities like planting crops, going to war, getting married, even predicting the destiny of a newborn child based on their birth date. The Codex Borgia contains intricate almanacs mapping out the influences of various deities and the cosmic forces across these cycles. It likely guided priests in performing ceremonies, understanding omens, and navigating the complex relationship between the human world and the divine. Now, looking at the Codex today, trying to read it is incredibly complex, even for experts. It's a visual language packed with symbols built on layers of cultural meaning. But thanks to decades of study, particularly the work of the German scholar Edward Seeler in the early 20th century, we can interpret significant parts. The Codex is often divided into sections based on content. There are pages dedicated purely to the 260-day calendar cycle, showing the interplay of day signs and numbers. Other sections depict complex ritual scenes, perhaps illustrating specific ceremonies or myths. We see prominent Mesoamerican deities like Tezcatlipoca, the smoking mirror god associated with fate and sorcery, Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent god of creation and wisdom, Tlaloc, the rain god, and Tezcatlipoca, the lord of the underworld. There are fascinating sections that seem to map out cosmic structures or perhaps journeys through the underworld. One famous multi-page section depicts passages related to Venus, showing the planet's perceived influence, often negative, during different phases of its cycle. Other almanacs might predict good or bad fortune associated with marriage, birth, or agriculture. Archaeologists and anthropologists have learned an immense amount from the Codex Borgia and related manuscripts. They provide invaluable direct insight into the worldview, religious beliefs, ritual practices, scientific knowledge, especially with the calendars and astronomy, and social structures of pre-Hispanic Mesoamerican societies. It shows a universe governed by cyclical time, powerful deities demanding appeasement, and a deep connection between human actions and cosmic events. To be clear though, there's still a lot we don't know. The exact place it was made is still debated. And while Seeler provided foundational interpretations, the precise meaning of every symbol and scene is not fully agreed upon. We don't know the exact context in which it was used. Was it held by priests in a temple, consulted by rulers, used in specific ceremonies we no longer understand? Perhaps one of the most remarkable parts of the Codex Borgia's story is its survival. During the Spanish conquest in the early 16th century, countless indigenous manuscripts were destroyed, seen by European authorities as pagan idolatry or works of the devil. Libraries were burned, and much irreplaceable cultural knowledge was lost forever. Somehow, the Codex Borgia survived this destruction. We don't know the exact details of its journey, but like a few other precious pre-Columbian codices, it made its way across the Atlantic to Europe. It eventually came to the possession of the Italian cardinal Stefano Borgia, who collected rare antiques in the late 18th century. The Codex takes its modern name from him. After the cardinal's death, his collection passed to the Vatican, and today the Codex Borgia resides safely, though not usually on public display, at the Vatican Apostolic Library. It stands as a testament to the sophisticated intellectual and artistic achievements of pre-Hispanic Mesoamerican civilizations. It's a primary source, relatively untainted by European influence, offering a direct glimpse into a worldview profoundly different from the one that ultimately suppressed it. For scholars, it's a key to understanding the past. For artists, it's a source of incredible visual inspiration. And for many people, it's a tangible link to the deep history and resilience of indigenous cultures. This concludes this week's episode of Who Arted, part of the Airwave Media Podcast Network. If you found this tolerable, please leave a rating or review on your favorite podcast app. You can find images of the work being discussed this week and every week on social media at Who Arted Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and of course on the website whoartedpodcast.com. Podcast done.